Clipping masks are a great effect when you want to give the illusion that you're looking through something. And in this case, we're going to make believe we're looking at this ship through a telescope lens. So what's going to happen is we're going to paint an ellipse. And this is important that you understand we have to use a painted object. We can't use something that's going to have like a center line. We have to have something that's going to have a contour, such as a painted object. So we can't use the pencil tool to draw the shape. We have to use the brush tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an ellipse using the ellipse tool. And we're going to fill it in with a color. And then we're going to use the clipping mask to hide everything but what's going on in that circle. Let's go ahead and give that a shot. Now I'm going to take my time because it's a complicated effect and it has a lot of steps to it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the exposure sheet here, and I'm going to create a new object here, a new drawing object. And I'm going to right click to rename it right here where it says drawing, because it's important to rename your elements as you work so you don't become disoriented or confused as to what's what when you're working. So I'm going to call this telescope. And I'll put the word mask there because this is going to be the object that we're going to use to see just the ship. And now that we have that, let's go to our drawing view to create this artwork. So I'm going to go to my drawing view, and I'm going to go to where the paintbrush is over here, and I'm going to choose the ellipse tool. I'm going to hold down the shift key and drag out a circle, and I'll put it into position with the select tool. We'll put this right in the center. And what I want to do now is I want to give that guy a color. So I'm going to go to properties, and the color is not important because we're not going to see the color. We're going to see the ship through here. So I'll go ahead and just give that a green fill. Grab the paint bucket tool, click in there to get that color in there. And what I want to do at this point is I'm going to get rid of the stroke because I really don't need that. I just want the fill. So I press delete, and all I have is this fill now. Now we have our mask painted object. We're going to expand it now. So I'm going to go to the end of the timeline, and I'm going to increase the exposure of this object as well. So now the telescope lens will appear throughout the entire animation. Now that we have that done, let's go ahead and apply the actual clipping mask effect. So let's go to the element menu and choose Add Clipping Effect. Now in the timeline, we have a clipping effect and we have a mask. What we have to do is take our artwork and drag the artwork to the mask. So we're going to grab this and drag it to the mask. And now our mask is ready to go. What we need to do at this point now is we need to collapse this, and I want to make a new peg that's going to contain all of this artwork here. So I'll create a new peg, and what I'm going to do is take this peg out of there, drag it to the top of this list, because I want to add these guys to this peg here. So I'm going to double click and rename this ship. Okay, now I'm going to hold down my mouse. I'm going to click ocean, and I'm going to let go of the mouse and click on sky with the shift key to grab all those guys and click and drag them right on top of the ship scene peg. So now the ship scene is included in this peg. Now, as you see here, I'm going to uncollapse the clipping effect. We have our clipping effect, and we have the telescope mask attached to the mask here. See that? Now we need to do the same thing, and instead of dragging the ship scene to the mask, we're going to drag the ship scene to the actual clipping effect. So once again, your artwork, which is the artwork you created, goes to the mask section of the clipping effect, and your scene that you're trying to clip goes on top of the clipping effect. So let's go ahead and drag that right to the clipping effect. And now we have the clipping effect and the mask. What I want to do at this point is make sure everything is extended throughout the entire animation. And I'm going to now look at my ship scene and make sure that's all there as well. And I'm going to hit the return key on the keyboard to see what this looks like so far. Let's go to our camera view first. And there you go. We're able to look at our clipping effect, our mask, and the actual telescope effect. Let's hit return to preview the animation. And now we have the effect of looking through a telescope at our scene. If you want to further the effect, just drag your background layer or create a new layer right to the top of the clipping effect and it won't be affected. For example, my sky is a solid blue object, so I can go ahead and grab that and drag it all the way to the top so that the clipping effect nor the mask affects it. And now we have this solid color, which really sells the idea that we're looking through something instead. Likewise, you can create a new drawing element and just color it black or whatever color you want to, and drag that to the top of the clipping effect so you can have this dark color so that we're looking through a lens. So once again, I'll hit return so we can see the effect. One thing that's very important, by the way, to make sure of is that you go back to your camera view or you won't be able to see this effect. So I'll go back to the drawing view just to show you what I'm talking about. In the drawing view, we can't see the effect of all this layering. We have to be in our camera view so we can see everything in effect here. So just to reiterate, drag any artwork that you draw, such as this one circle, or you can draw as many as you want, drag it to the mask, then drag the scene artwork or whatever artwork you want to be affected by the clip onto the clipping effect itself.